Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Missy Albrecht. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and owner of Invincible out here in Denver, Colorado. This is Betty, and today we just wanted to really kind of help educate you on the benefits of visceral mobility. So when I talk about the word viscera, it's just the organs that are housed in between the bottom of your rib cage and your pelvis here. So all of this space in here basically needs to be able to move internally, so inside the organ, like your small intestine. That's motility with a T. And they also need to be able to move independent of each other. So your small intestine needs to have space to move in between all of its little angles, and your large intestine and your stomach and your liver. So that's the mobility piece. So most people are familiar with the term mobility. That's basically just getting tissue, so maybe your bicep, to move a little bit smoother, independent from the skin, surrounding connective tissue, the fascia, and just allowing that muscle to function properly. Tissue is sliding and gliding properly. So basically visceral mobility is the same thing. And there's a technique called visceral manipulation. I studied through the Institute of Physical Art for functional visceral manipulation. And what that means is, rather than just treating the organ mobility while you're laying on a table, there are ways to put you in different positions so that your organs have to move throughout your day. So since we don't spend time just laying on a table all the time, it's important to, once you kind of get the basics moving here, laying on a table, putting you into different positions to make sure those restrictions aren't limiting you while you're walking, you're running, you're lifting weights, cycling, that kind of stuff. So the cool thing about visceral mobility is, because of the vicinity of the organs to your spine, to the muscles surrounding your back, to the nerves, you can really have a limitation in your viscera that can refer pain. And I'm not talking necessarily about like a heart attack referring to your left shoulder. This is a little bit lower level, something like just general lower back pain. So I went through a personal experience with this and was basically healed of my lower back pain by finding out that I had a restriction in my ileocecal valve, which is right where the small intestine and large intestine meet. And this is a common restriction for those who have a gluten intolerance, and I had also recently found out I had that. So it's just really cool to, maybe it's not the only treatment that you receive, but to kind of tie it in. And that is really why I'm passionate about adding it into my practice as a physical therapist. I have been able to help people's shoulder mobility by getting their liver to move properly, relieving lower back pain, improving hip mobility by just getting things to move properly, and really delving into why you have those restrictions. So you can have restrictions from improper breathing techniques, digestive problems, surgery, inflammatory disease. There's just so many things that can contribute, and in the end, it doesn't really matter the chicken or the egg which came first. It's more just, if you have a restriction, we also need to get that moving in addition to, getting your body mechanics in line. So standing properly, moving properly, getting muscles to relax. So it's just kind of a piece of that holistic treatment. And if you've really been limited by chronic pain and haven't really dialed into this, it's a really cool tool to look into to see if you have some restrictions. And the best part, my business Invincible, the philosophy is really to not like traditional PT see you twice a week for 8 weeks or whatever, really frequently. I am really big on self-care education. So there are ways like using the Coregeous Yoga Tune-Up Ball, using breathing, using your own hands to work on those restrictions on your own. So you will leave a session with me with kind of a game plan of what to work on. I'm always there to do more hands-on work, but really kind of want you to leave with those tools so that you have that tool, you know, maybe a few years later, you're like, oh, this pain is coming back. I remember Missy showed me this. I'm going to try this before I give her a call. Then if it doesn't work, we can kind of progress your plan and go from there. So visceral mobility, the technique is called visceral manipulation. You're going to be seeing a lot more information on this on my website. And yeah, I look forward to meeting all of you and poking around in your guts. It's going to shoot out another video showing some treatment techniques because it can kind of sound a little bit intimidating, but I am just blown away with the success I've had already in the last few years just helping people with this, and it's been really fun to kind of tie in nutrition, this visceral mobility into my physical therapy practice. See you later.